Good day to you. Today we are going to be reading Scene 3 and Scene 4 from Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet, my most famous tragedy of all time. Now I know it may seem like a lot of reading today, but don't worry, we are going to skip some of the sections because they were just me having a little bit of fun with words, and they are not needed to be read in order to fully understand what is happening. So let us start by recapping what happened in Scene 2. So remember, the Capulets are having a party tonight. It is very exciting and lots of prestigious people are going to be there, including Romeo's current love, Rosaline. Romeo and Benvolio were accidentally invited to the party by one of the servants of the Capulet house, and they intend to go. Benvolio hopes to convince Romeo that Rosaline is indeed not as great as Romeo thinks she is, and Romeo only plans to go so that he may see Rosaline once more. We also learned in Scene 2 that Paris is wooing Juliet. He wants her hand in marriage. Capulet invited Paris to the party tonight so that he may look at other people to make sure that he actually wants to marry Juliet, because Juliet is still quite young. She is not even 14. She's only 13 years old. Scene 3, we are in a room in the Capulet house, and we are going to see Lady Capulet, and we are going to meet one of my favorite characters of the play, the nurse. This is Juliet's nurse. Now, a few words about these two characters. Lady Capulet is very bossy, and she's not super great at being a mother, which is why she has the nurse. The nurse, she has raised Juliet from the time she was a baby, and she loves to talk about Juliet, and she loves to talk in general. She's very uneducated, but that doesn't stop her from speaking her mind on any matter that comes up whatsoever. So she is a great and funny character, and I will try to point out some of her more humorous lines to you as we carry on. They are going to be talking about the party tonight, and they are about to go to the party. They are getting ready for it when we see them in this scene. So I would like you to please read the start of Scene 3 all the way to line 21. Go ahead and give me a pause. Read to line 21 of Scene 3 now. Great! You read to line 21 of Scene 3. Let's talk about what happened. So we have Lady Capulet and the nurse enter, and they are calling for Juliet, and then Juliet enters, and here we meet one of the protagonists of the play. So she is a very kind girl. She listens to her nurse, to her mother very well, and they are talking about her age and her birthday. So again, we get Juliet's age here. Lady Capulet on line 14 says she's not 14, and the nurse, I love this part, this is hilarious. This gives you an idea of what the nurse looks like. On line 15, the nurse says, I'll lay 14 of my teeth, and yet to my teen sorrow, be it spoken, I have but 4. So she's saying, I would bet 14 of my teeth, and then she's like, oh no, wait, I only have 4 teeth, I can't bet 14. So that just gives you an idea of kind of what she looks like. She looks like a old hag with a lot of missing teeth. And the nurse says she is not 14, meaning Juliet is not 14. And then she asks this question, how long is it now to Lammastide? Now, for those of you that don't know, Lammastide is August 1st. Lady Capulet says it is a fortnight and odd days. A fortnight is 2 weeks' time. So the nurse says, how long is it to August 1st? Lady Capulet says about 2 weeks. And we learn that come Lammas Eve at night shall Juliet be 14. So Lammas Eve would be July 31st. So we know in about 2 weeks, Juliet will have turned 14 years old. Now, this is one of the sections I'm going to have you skip, but it is worth mentioning what is going on. From lines 22 all the way to line 61, the nurse is rambling. And she loves to ramble about anything and everything, especially if it has to do with Juliet, because she loves Juliet. So this entire section, the nurse is just talking about Juliet as a baby. She does say a lot of funny things, so if you would like to read it, it is quite enjoyable. But Lady Capulet keeps trying to get her to shut up, and she won't, until finally on line 62, Juliet says, "And stint thou too, I pray thee, nurse, say I." She's like, "Nurse, please shut up." And then the nurse finally does. So I would like you to resume your reading on line 63 and read all the way to line 82. So please pause me now, read from line 63 to 82. Great! Okay, in this section there was some very interesting conversation that happened. The nurse says on line 65, "I might live to see thee married once, I have my wish." She's like, "I hope, I pray, I wish that I will live to see Juliet, my lovely babe, married." And Lady Capulet goes, "Married is exactly what I came to talk of." And she asks Juliet, "Tell me, daughter, how stands your disposition to be married?" She goes, "What do you think about being married?" And Juliet on line 70 goes, "Well, it is an honor that I dreamt not of." So she hasn't even thought about getting married yet, right? She never thinks of marriage. Now, Lady Capulet continues to press her, and she says on line 73, "Younger than you here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother much upon these years that you are now a maid." So she's saying there are plenty of eligible young ladies in Verona that are your age and already have children. I myself already had a child when I was your age, right? So this is very young, like I said, but different times. Very different times, my dears. And then Lady Capulet continues to say, on line 79, "The valiant Paris seeks you for his love." So she's like, Paris is looking to marry you. Oh, it's so exciting because he's rich, he has money, he's got prestige, he's got all of the things, he is the package, right? And the nurse gets all excited. "Oh, a man, young lady, such a man as all the world, why, he's a man of wax." And she is very much in favor of Juliet marrying Paris. Now, in this next section, Lady Capulet is going to make a request of Juliet. So please pay attention to what that request is. I would like you to pause me now and read to the end of scene 3. Great, you've read to the end of scene 3. Let's talk about what happened. So in this scene, the rest of the scene, Lady Capulet asks Juliet to look at Paris at the feast, right? Now that we know that Paris is out for marriage with Juliet, Lady Capulet says, "This night you shall behold him," meaning Paris, "at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris's face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament, and see how one another lends content." She's saying, please examine him, look at him, see if you could love him. The nurse makes a funny joke about men getting women pregnant on line 99, and Juliet says, "I'll look to like if looking liking move, but no more deep will I endart mine eye than your consent gives strength to make it fly." So she's basically saying there, I'll think about it. She's like, I will look at him and I will see if I am moved by what I see, and I will go no further than that. Then the serving man enters and the party is about to begin. So he is crazy. He says, "Everybody's asking for you, Lady Capulet. I beseech you, follow straight. Please hurry." And then they all exit to go to the party. That ends scene 3. So on to scene 4. In scene 4, we are back onto a street of Verona, and we are going to see Romeo and Benvolio enter the scene again with another one of their friends, Mercutio. Now, Mercutio is a cousin to the prince, which is going to be important later, but he is also a very good friend to Romeo. Mercutio and Romeo, just like Benvolio and Tybalt, are dramatic foils to one another. So Romeo is very moody, he's very much thinking about love all the time, he's very serious, Mercutio is the opposite, right? He just is living to have fun. He's very energetic. He's very upbeat. He's very positive. He's a dreamer, right? He's very witty. So the complete opposite of Romeo, but they contrast each other very, very well. The other thing you might want to know about Mercutio is he makes a lot of very dirty jokes, which is what makes him hilarious and one of my favorite characters of all time. So Benvolio and Romeo are going to the party with Mercutio. Mercutio was indeed invited, so he is bringing them as their guests. Even though the servant already invited them, they are bringing Mercutio, going with Mercutio, so that it seems more legitimate. Now, we also have 5 or 6 other maskers and torchbearers. Torchbearers are people that are carrying torches to light the way. Maskers are people that are going to the party. Now, often in this time period, when one had a fancy party and you wanted to remain anonymous, you would wear a mask to the party so that nobody could see your face. This was perfectly common back in this time period. So you will see that the boys are going to be wearing masks to the party, which is how they are going to stay kind of disguised throughout the evening. And so they are with a bunch of other maskers, a bunch of other people wearing masks at the party. So we have the men, they're on their way. I would like you to start reading Act 4 all the way through line 58. So go ahead and pause me now, read through line 58. Great, you read through line 58 of scene 4. I keep saying Act 4, I do apologize. I'm getting my words all confused here. So Romeo is talking about if they should come up with some sort of story for why they're at the party in case they get caught. But Benvolio, he says, on line 11, we'll measure them a measure and be gone. He's like, we're just going to dance and leave, so there's no need for us to make up a story because we're not going to cause any trouble. And Romeo's like, oh, I'm not in the mood for dancing. And Mercutio goes, oh, but you must have a dance. And then there are a couple of puns in here, one of them being Romeo's line on line 16. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles, I have a soul of lead. So he's making a play on words here with the soles of your feet and the soul of your body, right? And Mercutio goes on trying to lift Romeo's spirits, as he often does, making a couple of dirty jokes, which I am not going to tell you what those are. Good luck figuring them out by yourself. And Romeo on line 50 says, but 'tis no wit to go. He says, I think it's a bad idea to go. Mercutio says, why, may one ask? And Romeo says, I dreamt a dream tonight. So Romeo is saying, I don't think it's a good idea for us to go to this party because I had a dream. And what is going to happen in the next section, which we are going to skip because it's quite long and rather rambling, is Mercutio is going to start telling an elaborate story. And this story is about Queen of the Fairies, Queen Mab. Okay, so she is Queen of the Fairies, which you read on the very last line, 58 there. And he gets very carried away by his tale. Whenever he does something, he does it all the way, right? So he starts to get very excited and talking very fast and sounding a little bit crazy, talking about this Queen of the Fairies story. And Romeo, all the while, is trying to kind of calm him down. So we are going to skip the next 50 or so lines. We're going to skip all the way to line 101. So I would like you to continue reading from line 101 to the end of scene 4. Go ahead and pause me now. Read from line 101 to the end of scene 4. Great, you finished reading scene 4. So let's see what they talked about. Romeo finally gets Mercutio to stop telling his crazy story about Queen Mab, and he says, thou talkst of nothing, Mercutio. You're not talking about anything, you're not making sense. And Mercutio says, true, I talk of dreams. Ha! Now remember, Romeo had just said he didn't want to go to the party because he had a bad dream. The whole point in Mercutio doing this was to show Romeo that dreams are pointless. They mean nothing. So Mercutio is actually quite brilliant because that's why he spun this whole elaborate story. Romeo still has hesitations, which he reveals on line 113. He says, I fear too early For my mind misgives some consequence yet hanging in the stars shall bitterly begin his fearful date with this night's revels and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some veil forfeit of untimely death. Romeo here is saying that he's afraid the events of tonight will lead to his untimely death. This, my dear friends, is a bit of foreshadowing that we have at the end of this scene, and I will leave you with that today. I bid you adieu.